Ooh, hair. All right. We are live. Give me just a moment while I make that announcement on Facebook. So, welcome everyone. First off, thank you very much for joining me. I wish to go to my channel, and I wish to share the channel. I am live and talking. She-Ra, Princess is of Power. Join me, won't you? Link, share. There we go. All right. All right. All right. So we are live. Welcome to The Logic. I am the logical one, John Wise here. So these have to come off because of the glare. There's glare. So these come off. I may make this like a regular tradition when I say take them off as I do the video. So, okay. I haven't been snorting, I swear. My nose won't stop running. Okay, so last Tuesday, was that the 13th? I think it was the 13th. Okay, I'm work. The 13th, Tuesday? That was Tuesday. Yes, it was. It was Tuesday. She-Ra, Princesses of Power, made its debut on Netflix. It was originally supposed to be the 16th. They pushed it forward to the 13th. I had some issues or some theories on why they did this. Theory the first is shared by many on YouTube. Is all they knew of all the negative hype coming into this video or the series, and they didn't want all the negativity to show up at once on the weekend, so they thought, hey, we'll do it Tuesday. This way all the negative reactions are done, they're posted during the week. On weekends, boom, not so many. That is just a few of the shady-ish dealings we have since the series has been out. Can you excuse me just for a moment? I'm sorry. My nose is driving me nuts. Okay, sorry. Oh, my apologies. My apologies. Okay, so that is one of the shady dealings that I'm under the assumption that has been going on. The second one, and this will end up all tying together, I promise, because I am going to go into a 4-round review, is those who check out RottenTomatoes.com. RottenTomatoes.com. Will notice that the series, before it even debuted, had garnered 100% by critics on RottenTomatoes.com. When the series came out, it was 100% critics, 0% audience rating. That 0% audience rating somehow miraculously, almost overnight, went to 40%. So you're thinking maybe the series isn't as bad as I think. Wrong. I shouldn't say wrong. I should say not necessarily the case. If you look at all the views, and this is pointed out, I want to give credit here where credit is rightfully due. Give me just a moment here to find her. This was brought up by a fellow YouTuber. I want to try getting her name here. Oh, there she is. There she is. Mecha Random 42. Mecha Random 42. I watched her video earlier, and she made this. She found this out. She figured this out. There we go. Observation. That's the word I'm thinking. Good Lord. I have some timers. I'm sorry. Switch back here. So she made this observation. The observation is this: if you go to the audience ratings and you can view who all has been rating that particular post. You go to She-Ra Princess of Power, go to the 40%, click, and all of these 5-star reviews are on there. Miraculously, this show must be great, right? Well, if you click on those random names, or just first name with the last initial, no profile picture, you'll notice that they don't only have a profile picture, but there's no profile, and it was started on November 2018. Practically every single one. There were a few, very few, that did actually rate more than just the She-Ra, but for the most part, every single one had no prior reviews, and they were all created November 20 of this year when She-Ra came out. So it is a theory of Mecha Random and a few others, and myself included, that they hired a PR firm or a bunch of other people, maybe themselves, had created a bunch of emails and names and just decided that 5-star, 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 5-star to get that percentage up. Because if you look at a lot of the reviews that have profiles who rated it, didn't rate it very high, and had nothing, and actually posted why they didn't like it. All these 5-stars have no reviews as far as why they liked the show, just 5-star. So some more shady business going on there. But I digress. I already have issues. Before the series even started, I already had issues with them bashing the fan base, bashing the original just to say ours is better. That's not what you do. You don't say the old fans suck, the old series sucks, ours is better. You don't do that. You don't do that. That's why the new Ghostbusters film bombed. And that's a whole other story. I won't get into that. I'm not going to say I like or dislike that movie. It had its moments, but that's not what this video is about. So going in, I mentioned all of this. Going into this new series, I did my very, very best before I hit play to clear my mind and say, hey, this is a new series. This is a new take. Try to have an open mind. So I went in this with an open mind as much as I could, given all of the background and everything. So is the series as bad as we thought? Is the series as bad as I thought it would be? Well, I took notes, and I did watch all 13 episodes. Again, I apologize. I was originally going to do a live reaction video, and I started to do so, and I had some technical difficulties with the online service. Comcast has been messing up a lot over here on my end. It's happened the last couple of live streams. I'm hoping it's good now, so we'll see. So that didn't happen. So let's go ahead, and I have notes. I took notes. So let's go ahead and go over all the. Try to set this up to where. There we go. So I just have to look over there. So let's go ahead and I'll go over everything that I've actually liked. Well, first off, let's go over the premise of the series. A little bit of unsweet tea there. I'm thirsty. let's go to the premise of the series. Premise of the series. Um, we have Adora, who is an orphan in this. Um, so she was not raised by both Hordak and Shadow Weaver. Kind of sounds like in this series she was just raised by Shadow Weaver. And I'll get into this more than that in just a little bit. But we have Adora, an orphan who has been trained to be a Horde soldier along with her BFF, possibly more, friend Ketra. Of course, we've all seen the redesigns of these characters. Some of them I'm okay with, a lot of them I'm not. Ketra, I'm kind of on the fence about. Kind of a little, I like a little bit, a little A, a little B. Ketra was one of my favorite characters, along with Frosta and Castaspella. So I'm kind of a little on the fence about her redesign. Doesn't bother me as much as Frosta and Castaspella. So while Adora and Catra decide to steal a Horde skiff and just leave the Fright Zone, and they end up at the Whispering Woods. They go into the Whispering Woods. Adora falls off. She lands. And this is just, I'm not giving going into a whole lot of detail, but essentially the sword of power calls out to her that is buried and sticking out of a stone or a pile of a bush, something along those lines. And Catra finds her. You find out Adora thinks she dreamed this while she was knocked out. She sees all these various images. They go back to the Fright Zone. Adora can't get out of her head, so she goes back to the Whispering Woods, where she does find the sword. Is followed by Catra. And she's there, and she finds the sword along with Glimmer and Bow, who end up getting into a little scuffle over the sword. Adora ends up shackled in prison. They make her prisoner. They get into a little bit of a scuff. Adora gets a hold of the sword to save Glimmer and Bow. So somehow she manages to turn into She-Ra. Along these lines, at some point, we do hear the iconic phrase, "For the honor of Grayskull." I want to go and note that even Adora asks, "What is Grayskull?" We never find out. We don't know why she says "for the honor of Grayskull." Whether they're saving this for a second season is unknown, but as of right now, we have no hint, no idea of what Grayskull is in this series. But that is basically the premise. That is how Adora becomes She-Ra. Eventually, Adora gains Glimmer and Bow's trust because Adora sees all the evil that the Horde has done by seeing this village of Faemor. Yes, Faemor. We actually get Faemor in this series, which is a callback to the original series, Secret of the Sword, actually, which was kind of cool. See, all the homages that they've made in the series, I liked. I actually, for the most part, I liked. At one point, she goes into this crystal temple. We find out it's like a crystal palace, and the password to get in is Eternia. So, and then we find out that it is time for her, Glimmer, and Bow to reunite all the princesses in the kingdom to form the Princess Alliance. That is the premise of the show, trying to get all the princesses together. And so each episode, all 13 episodes, follow the basic premise of trying to get all the princesses together to form the alliance. It's not really, the basic storyline actually isn't that bad. Generic, yes, but not that bad. It's the characters themselves that are not that great. So, and with that, we're going to go ahead. We're going to dive right into my likes, because my likes, There's not as many likes as there are dislikes, unfortunately. And there was some that I was actually switching on and off as I went on with the series. I was taking notes per episode. As far as what I like, what I didn't like, if things changed, I notated it. So first off, when you first start an episode, you will get a very familiar type of like font and different colors, but we get a Filmation type intro uh, homage. The ding, that type of deal, where it kind of does it, only it does it with Netflix. I think it says Netflix when it does it, so that's pretty cool. I kind of like that. That was kind of cool, but it's in like a girly colors. It's not like the dark rainbow color. It's like the pinks, the purples, stuff like that, and I'm fine with it. I thought it was pretty cool. Um, and then we get into like the first 30 seconds, a minute, whatever, of story, kind of sets up the story for that episode. And then it goes into the song, the theme song, which is just god awful. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a fan of the song. Um, but I'll get into that. But yes, I like the Filmation homage there. Shadow Weaver. It took me a while to get used to her redesign. At first, when I saw the redesign, I utterly just hated it. Because my brain was set to one thing. But watching the series, it actually grew on me. I actually did start to like her redesign. I actually did start to like the character a lot more than I did when I first saw her in the trailer in the first episode or two. For the most part, I really like Shadow Weaver. There's something that happens in the later episodes that I'm not so happy about because of this. And this goes into one of my dislikes. But for the most part, Shadow Weaver I actually really liked. I liked Shadow Weaver. Catra. I actually, like I said, I'm kind of on the fence about Catra. I'm not so. And I don't like her redesign. I really don't like her redesign. But the character itself, I actually dig. Um, she's actually one of the characters that is just unique and different enough from all the others. And I say this, and again, this is going into one of my dislikes. Pretty much every character in here you can interchange. They're pretty much the same character. So yeah, it's pretty rough, and we'll get to that when I get to my dislikes. Perfuma. Perfuma is one of the princesses that the redesigns and character traits and portrayals I actually enjoyed. I think better than the Filmation version. The Filmation version, I kind of always found her a little annoying, mostly because she kind of talked like this, and I always annoyed the hell out of me. This one I actually like. She's kind of more of a hippie, honestly, and she's kind of the princess of like this hippie tribe. So I don't know. I just kind of dug it. And maybe it's because it's plants. Maybe because because you can call me a tree hugger if you want. Um, but I mean, that's just what I am. And maybe that could be it though. I liked the character. She was definitely one of the least annoying princesses in this entire run. I think she might be the only non-annoying princess to me. I already mentioned Catra. Hordak. Now, Hordak's going to go under my likes and dislikes. So I guess I could take care of him right away. Hordak. I like his appearance. The hair takes a little bit getting used to because I kind of like the bony fin type protrusions on his head. But for the most part, I like him, and I don't have it written on here. But Imp, I actually enjoy Imp. He's not an annoying character. I always found him annoying. I like the way he looked in Filmation. I just didn't like his character in Filmation. And here, he's actually more silent. He's more of a spy. And when he opens his mouth to reveal what he found out, it actually comes out. He was like basically a recorder. It records their voices, and he comes, and then it comes out of his mouth. So that was kind of cool. And he hasn't shapeshifted. At least I didn't notice. Maybe I turned my head for a moment and went back and didn't notice it, but I didn't notice that he did any shape shifting. So my cats. So yeah. Give me just a moment. Cats. So Imp was cool. I don't have him down here. I should have. But Hordak, yeah, I like his appearance. I like his voice. Um, his voice. I mean, I would have enjoyed to have more of a Filmation voice. Of course, the Filmation was a little more campier than this one. I don't mean campier in a bad way. I just, he's more serious. Now there's some dislikes of Hordak that I'll get to. But overall, I did like Hordak. And as a Hordak fan, that's definitely a good thing. That means they kind of got him right. There's some cameos. We have some cameos. Now, I caught only 2. I'll have to go through and see if there were any others. There might have been. So, the first cameo we get, when I saw this character, I was like, oh, awesome! Because he was one of the characters that I was like, why didn't we have him and her and him? So, and though I would have enjoyed this cameo if it was Mantenna, because Mantenna is my all-time favorite Horde member, follow along with Hordak, but we get Grizzlor. Grizzlor makes an appearance in this, makes a couple appearances actually in the series. They don't refer to him as such, but he is Grizzlor. And one cameo that they did actually name is Octavia. I believe that was her name. She was the green octopus chick. So yeah, she makes a cameo in here as well. So that was pretty cool. And here's something that was really cool. In one of the second to last to third to last episodes, they find out. This goes along, I think, with one of my dislikes. It's not on here, but I'm going to mention it anyway. Well, one of my dislikes is you find out Etheria is actually mechanical planet. There's tech. The planet's made out of the First Ones tech. It's these mysterious beings called the First Ones. We have no idea who the hell they are. And the planet is essentially one big ball of tech. It's like a giant computer, basically. And one of the new princesses who was good and goes to the Horde is Entrapta. And she's a techie wizard, which is kind of cool. I really wish she wasn't so annoying. But she and I think this might have been done deliberately, but she yells out when she finds out that she can do this. She goes, "Hack the planet!" Which to me could very well be a nod to the movie Hackers. And I'm a huge fan of the movie Hackers. And I love the fact that this was quoted, "Hack the planet." It could not have been a coincidence. Had to be in there on purpose. So for that, I give a huge thumbs up on that one. I think that was the one time I actually really did laugh out loud. LOL. Which is perfect for this type of a show, because that's what this show was for. The LOL crowd. So there we go with our likes. Now to the dislikes. Now you'll notice under the likes I didn't say Adora or She-Ra. You would think under a series named She-Ra, one of my favorite likes would be She-Ra. Well, you'll notice my favorite characters were Shadow Weaver, Perfuma, Catra, and dislikes Adora. Adora, she's whiny. She's clumsy. Good lord, she's anything but the strong-minded, stubborn character that we got when she was with the Horde. Not strong sounding at all. Not at all sure of herself. Even before she's here, when she gets the sword, she's really not sure of herself. You saw, and if you saw the trailer, you saw her fumbling with the sword and accident turning Horsey into Swiftwind. that kind of continues throughout the series, I'm afraid to say. And She-Ra is just as annoying. I'm sorry. Um, there is one thing I do like, that when Adora turns into She-Ra, she does change size a bit. She does. I wish I could say she get beefed up a little bit. She doesn't really at all. So there's, but so yeah, Adora / She-Ra not portrayed very well at all in this series. Not a symbol of being a strong female um, persona, a strong female to look up to. Just not. It's not She-Ra. Whether this is supposed to be a She-Ra for a new generation and not the fans, regardless, if this is the She-Ra that you made for the new generation, I feel bad for this new generation. It's not a good She-Ra. I'm sorry. Glimmer. Glimmer is my least favorite character in the entire series. She's not at all. And I'm going to say this a lot by a lot of these characters I have on here. She's not the Glimmer of the original series. And you could be probably, this creator would probably argue, but that's the point. Then why call her Glimmer? Why call any of these characters their characters' names if they're not going to resemble anything at all like their previous characters? I was going to save this to the very end, and I'll probably repeat it to the end. But this series, you could have given it a different title and all these characters different names, because it's a completely different series, completely different characters. You did not honor the source material whatsoever. And Glimmer is a prime example. It's not the fact she's chubby. It's not the fact she has a short purple hair. I don't care about any of that. I really don't. A lot of I want to point out Adora, that she's whiny. Glimmer is worse. She's the stereotypical teenage daughter of Queen Angela. The Queen Angela I did not put on this list of like or dislike, because honestly, she's not a character you really give a shit about. I guess I could put that under a dislike in a way. I could put that under a dislike. Their portrayal of Queen Angela is a character you really just don't care about. But Glimmer's very annoying. She's very bratty. She doesn't like to listen to her mommy. She's not the leader of the rebellion. She's not a leader whatsoever. We have Bow, who I originally had under like, because I actually enjoyed him in the beginning. And then towards the end of the series, I'm just like, oh, shut up. Bow is... in second season, I wouldn't be surprised if Bow came out as a closet gay guy. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but there isn't a cartoon series for 7-year-olds. Unless they did it in a somewhat tasteful way, I guess. But he's definitely, no, because I think he likes Glimmer. I think he loves Glimmer. So I'm not going to say that. I won't say that. But he does come off as just, I don't know. He's a character that you really can't. You just kind of look at the character and you're trying to figure this one out. He's the comic relief. He's I don't know. I'd like to try skipping this one if I can. I'll end Bow with this. He's unique. And I don't like the voice actor. How about that? There we go. I don't like the voice actor of him either. So the original voice actor was better, and that's ironic, because the voice actor of the new Bow actually bashed the original voice actor of Bow. So okay, so here we go. The theme song. I mentioned this earlier. Theme song is horrible. It's very girl band, very girl pop. It's doesn't have the catchiness of the original. Doesn't hold your attention like the original. It's um, it's one I skipped a lot. I listened to it once, maybe twice, and the rest of the time I just skipped. I skipped it. Didn't like it. Um, Seahawk, Captain Seahawk. He was the character who, in the original She-Ra series, um, was portrayed as very masculine, but not afraid to get in there. And he would always, of course, get in trouble, and he would be rescued by She-Ra. He did his fair rescuing too, but She-Ra mostly rescued him. There's nothing wrong with that because the girls are always in trouble and the guys are rescuing them. So to see that in a cartoon series like that in the '80s was awesome to see. Um, but Seahawk was really cool. He was another one of my favorite characters. Um, and they were had a love interest thing going. Like she was very much, into Seahawk, and Seahawk was very much into She-Ra, or I should say, Adora was very much into Seahawk, and Seahawk was into She-Ra. So it's weird triangle thing, but not, yeah. Here, Seahawk, um, he's not gay. Thank God didn't go that far, because again, not to say anything wrong with that, but Seahawk should not be portrayed as a stereotypical gay pirate, which is where a lot of people thought he was going to go. But he's very flamboyant, loves to break into song, very egotistical, thinks highly of himself. Um, and the character is very much the kind of character that you don't want to like. Even the characters in the series, for the most part, don't like him, except for Bo. Bo loves the guy. Bo wants to be Seahawk. He wants to be his sidekick. He's very much infatuated with Mermista, who we'll get to. So yeah, Seahawk again, not very good. Not a very good character, not a very good representation. Now here's one that again I'm on the fence about. I almost put her on the like, but I had to put her on the dislike. Madame Razz does make an appearance in the series. I think she is actually in the second or the third or fourth episode. And Madame Razz is now an old woman who lives in like this hut in the middle of the woods by herself. Although if you ask her, she's not by herself. She has her friend Broom, which is literally just a broom. It doesn't talk, it doesn't walk, nothing. It doesn't have arms. It's just a broom that she talks to sometimes. And she has Loki. Remember Loki? The guy in the She-Ra episode you would try to look for and find, and he'd pop up with the moral of the story? Yeah. Except he's not a real character. Loki is a character on a fold-out Japanese fan that she has. You see his face. And Madame Razz goes, Lana's Loki. He likes to hide that one. Yeah, she's an old Jewish lady. Can we be any more stereotyped? What is her name? Nicole Stevens? Nichelle Stevens? I think it's Nichelle Stevens. Nicole Stevens. I don't remember her name. She's the one that created this new She-Ra. For somebody who doesn't like stereotypes, she stereotyped a lot of people in this. And Madame Razz has very limited amount of magic for some reason. But we do find out a little bit about She-Ra. Or as we find out, Mara. Who's Myra? Well, Mara was the original She-Ra before Adora. Well, not the original, but she was the She-Ra before Adora. Yes, much like now. This I'm on the fence about. I'm kind of like, okay, I kind of like that, but at the same time, Now for He-Man fans, we know canon that the Power Sword that Prince Adam holds is known as the Power Sword, also sometimes referred to as the Sword of He. This the title of He-Man is actually passed down through generations. Started with King Grayskull. Hence, one of the first people is Hero. So the fact that there could have been more than one She-Ra is not necessarily unheard of. We never hear of that. It's possible that that could have happened. So the fact they took a little liberty with that, actually, I kind of like in a way. It doesn't really bother me. But it doesn't bother, that part doesn't bother. What bothers me is that we have had no hint that this power existed before this, like on Eternia. So, I mean, what I'm saying is this sword should not exist here on Etheria. This sword should have only existed on Eternia and had been brought here to Etheria. So, by saying that this sword has always been here and that there were other She-Ras here on Etheria before Dora, you're saying that that sword has always been here and never on Eternia. So, when or if ever, does He-Man exist? We know he has to at some point because they mention Eternia and they mention Grayskull. So it kind of confuses things and it really gets you wondering where this is going to go. I believe this has already been picked up for a second season, so maybe we'll find out. So that was my Madam Raz. I went. So we're back to Hordak, the dislike. Now I already mentioned that for the most part, I really do like Hordak. I like his. He's the only one, as far as I think, that they kind of appearance wise got right. Now we all know, the true He-Man fans know that back in the day, Hordak went to Eternia, had a big war with Eternia, and he ended up losing, but he ended up stealing Adora from the palace and bringing her to Etheria. We know this. And hence he, for the most part, raised her along with Shadow Weaver. Well, in this, we find out that Shadow Weaver actually raised Adora as her own, which gives you under the assumption that maybe Shadow Weaver is the one that stole Adora and not Hordak. Again, playing more into the female power than the male power, because God forbid, a guy has this brilliant idea and sees potential in this girl over a female. That's their mind frame. That's their mind frame. So this theory is backed up by the fact that Hordak lacks a relationship with Adora. I kid you not. He gives two shits about Adora. You find this out because when Adora leaves the Horde and goes to the Rebellion, Shadow Weaver wants to bring her back. She wants to go get her. More than anything, she wants to go get Adora. Hordak says no. Forget Adora. Bring me a new Force Captain instead. And she doesn't. She ignores his orders. Orders Catra to go get Adora. Well, at some point she brings Catra to Hordak for punishment, but instead Hordak points out that she has yet to obey him by not searching for Adora, and in fact, Hordak is now going to make Catra the new Force Captain, which is fine because she is Force Captain in the Filmation series after Adora. So that's fine. That's one of the few things they probably actually kept canon. But the fact that he gives two shits about Adora really bothers me. Here's something else. This Hordak literally sits on his ass all day. That's it. He Shadow Weaver do this. Shadow Weaver do that. That's it. You see him on a screen most of the time. You see him on his throne a few times. That's it. He isn't out there getting his hands dirty. He's not out there, commanding the troops. That's it. So it's very lackluster Hordak. So it's not with Hordak himself. It's their way they portrayed him that really bothers me. And now we have one of the other female Horde members. I was really wondering if they were going to have her. Now, and they do. Scorpia. Scorpia wasn't until that one of my favorites. Was, still pretty cool. She had the little pincers and the tail. She always had that beefed up voice that really didn't match her body type at all. Here it's completely different. Here she's beefed up and has a very feminine voice. So they just can't get that right whatsoever. But that's not the annoying part. The annoying part is just her in general. She's up Catra's ass all the time. She seems like she's a very lonely person who's never had any friends, and so she automatically befriends Catra immediately. Like she's assigned to Catra, and they're now she's just decided you're my new BFF. And this is, I mean, this is the kind of the series that we have, folks. It doesn't take, it's not, it's I don't know, corny, I guess, and not in the good way. This almost seems like a parody of She-Ra. That's the best way to describe this series. The series seems like it's a parody of She-Ra. So we have Mermista. Oh my god. Here is a spoiled girl with a valley girl speak. Pretty almost. Whatever. Oh my god. Seahawk, get away from me. Don't burn my ship. That's Mermista. I kid you not. That's Mermista. Um Other than that, I mean, powers wise, they pretty much have her down. She can both go land and sea. She grows a tail and then grows legs when needed. That's what bothers me the most. I think about her was the fact that the fact that they made her a valley girl and they made her like a spoiled rich girl who goes and sends her butler to do this. We have Entrapta, and I mentioned Entrapta, and Entrapta was somebody who almost ended up on my like list. And I do have a little bit. And when you first meet her, she's very annoying. She's still towards at the end. She's still very annoying, but she's she's almost something that my like list. She's almost a cutesy annoying. Like you kind of want to like her because she's really excited, really hyped up, anything and everything tacky. She loves it. And I mean, she's really this close to being on my like list. In fact, I'll probably put her on both. Uh, and she's the reason why the Horde nearly defeated the rebellion, because of her wanting to hack the planet. um, so yeah, Entrapta. I can't say too many bad things about her because, like I said, she almost did up on my like list. It was actually she's almost I think an improvement over the Filmation. And here is my number one favorite character in the vintage Filmation series, gone completely bonkers in this series, and that is Frosta. Beautiful Frosta, beautiful white-haired, gorgeous Frosta, turned into an 11-year-old Eskimo with Iceman powers, the powers of Iceman. I kid you not. So at one point, she's in the cartoon. She's riding the Iceman. You know the slide that Iceman uses when he travels. That's what she's using. And I'm just like, oh man. She can create the ice, freeze the water. Their powers and everything are cool. I'm not gonna say that. It's just the fact that they went to they changed the character so much from the original. And again, this is definitely a show where they could have named it anything other than She-Ra. They could have named these characters other than Frosta or Bo or She-Ra or Adora or Glimmer. And they named them, given them different names. And it's going to be a totally different series. And it still would have been but it wouldn't have been She-Ra. It would, as of right now, it's She-Ra. Yeah. Swiftwind, a very elegant horse in the first one, was Spirit, turned into Swiftwind. My name is Swiftwind now, dear friend. She-Ra, I have you. Very elegant, very loyal. Not this Swiftwind. In fact, this Swiftwind's first name before Swiftwind was Horsey. Pretty original, huh? Horsey. He didn't talk. It was a horse they didn't know the name of. Then they just called him Horsey. And then he accidentally gets hit by one of the beams from the sword and turns into Swiftwind. He freaks the fuck out and takes off, and that's the last we see of Swiftwind for quite a few episodes. Thank God, because when he comes back, he's annoying as shit. Oh God, the voice is almost like a Zach Brand. I want to say it's almost like a Zach Brannigan type of voice. If anybody is familiar with Futurama, and though he wants to be, She-Ra's steed and all that, he's very much for liberating all the horses on Etheria. Yes, he wants to go to all the stables and liberate all the horses. Jesus. We have Castaspella. She's like my second main favorite character in the original Filmation here. She's Queen Angela's sister, which means this Castaspella is older, which kind of makes sense because this Castaspella and Shadow Weaver were training together, and of course Shadow Weaver is older, so this kind of makes a little bit more sense. However, she's a very overbearing aunt. She's very jealous of Queen Angela. But in the Castaspella episode, we do find out that the Shadow Weaver did train on Mysticor with Castaspella in that. So they kept that. We even see a statue that fairly resembles the original Shadow Weaver. So that is kind of cool. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I didn't really like the way they portrayed Castaspella though. As far as the overbearing aunt, the jealous aunt, I didn't care too much for that. So we're gonna get now to the season finale. That's the episode. A big old facepalm right there. For the most part, the season finale was decent. What happened in the episode is we have Entrapta, who managed to find a way, because she hacked the planet, take all of the princess's runestones. And the only one they didn't do is Bright Moon's runestone, and that's because it was protected. And so the Horde has to go and try to take down the runestone to go make darkness for the Horde, led by Catra. And it's a great battle. The battle is actually pretty cool. And of course, but very predictable, because at the end, all the princesses come together to help out and take out the Horde. And Lord, the Horde is defeated by the Care Bear Stare. I'm kid you not. All the princesses come together. They touch the sword. All the princesses, not the two males. The males do not light up. Not Bo, not Seahawk, just the females, the princesses. But they all light up. Different colors of the rainbow. And all of their powers go into the sword, and the sword shoots out this fucking rainbow, and it takes out the fucking Horde. I kid you not. When I saw that, my eyes went wide, my mouth dropped. I'm like, the Horde just lost to the Care Bear Stare. Like, oh my God, this is bad. This is bad. So, some notes here. The characters, like I said, they're for the most part, with the exceptions of the ones I mentioned, like Catra, Shadow Weaver, they're pretty boring and very interchangeable. They really are. Hordak is pushed aside and does absolutely nothing in a series, to where he was the main villain of the series. You have Catra as the main background villain, with Catra as kind of the upfront villain. And here, Shadow Weaver was destroyed by Catra, because Shadow Weaver gets her powers by a jewel, which is the runestone of Scorpius people. So Catcher destroyed, and Hordak gave Shadow Weaver her powers. So Catcher destroyed that, essentially destroying Shadow Weaver, and is now Hordak's first in command. So she's the new Shadow Weaver. This series would probably be almost forgivable if there wasn't obviously forced agendas in this thing. And typically, I'm just like, when anyone says, "Oh, there's an agenda here, an agenda there," and I'm just rolling my eyes. I'm like, "Shut the fuck up and enjoy this show, will you?" Because usually I can just bypass it. Perfect example is, I'll bring it up again, the female Ghostbusters movie. For the most part, I enjoyed it. Was it bad? Yes, it was a bad movie. But I found a way to enjoy the movie. I own the movie. So yeah. Here, not so much. Like The Last Jedi. Actually, I think it might be a little bit more. It's definitely on par with The Last Jedi. There's definitely a big female agenda here, female push agenda. With the original She-Ra Princess of Power, there was no agenda. It was just, here, we present this to you. Take with it as you will. And with that, it was very female empowered. Both females and males can like it. There was something for everybody in that show. This new She-Ra, this is made for one sex, females, not 7-year-olds. I'm telling you that right now, because I've talked to a lot of people, and I've watched a lot of reviews, and a lot of kids, a lot of daughters, didn't like it. They found it boring. I've heard on many occasions, we're like, "Can we watch the other She-Ra?" What does that tell you? There's definitely an LGBT agenda here. Again, I have no problem with LGBT representations. I really, really don't. During the backlash of this transgender movie getting made, that's what I'm calling, because I don't remember the title, being made, and it's being portrayed by somebody who's not a transgender. I'm one of those people who are like, okay, yeah, why don't we have a transgender playing this character? So, again, but here, I mean, there's no transgenders here. I mean, you could argue that maybe She-Ra might be because of the way she looks. But there's definitely, obviously, lesbian overtones, I should say, because two of the characters, Spinnerella and Netossa, are definitely more than friends in this series. It's not, I mean, it's right there in your face. So, I mean, she did not hide any of this whatsoever. She did not hide the fact that women good, men bad, women better, men not bad, not good. There's definitely a lot of that in this, by the portrayal of Seahawk, by the portrayal of Seahawk and Bo. Oh yeah. The fact that Hordak has very little presence in this series whatsoever. So yeah, the male part, the show was made for definitely the female audience, specifically the female lesbian, bi, gay community, and it's really pushed there. Like I said, the original She-Ra was definitely made for everybody, and it had everything for everybody. It had representation. Melanie Britt, who voiced She-Ra, was a bisexual. So why she felt Nicole Neal, I think I really need to look up her name. Stevenson, rather. Nicole, I keep calling her Stevenson. Why she felt that she had to go the route she did, I don't know. I really don't. I don't think she really needed to. Could she have had, or Spinnerella and Netossa, them being a couple, bad thing? No. No, it's not like they're making out or anything on screen. I almost thought it was cute, because they're just always together, always on each other's arms and that. So it's kind of cute. And that, I guess that's okay. I'm okay with that. What really bothers me is those who saw that but wanted more. Like, they wanted, I guess, kissing, and they wanted, I don't know what I don't know what the hell they want, but they wanted more of, and I'm like, this is supposed to be a kid show. Say that for when they're older. Uh, so yeah, there was various in your face agendas going on here. Which goes in, kind of ties into the entire promotion of the show, the bashing of the original for the most part. When you had the voice actor who plays Bo in this one bash the other voice actor of the original series, saying he was too robotic. Not cool, dude. Not cool. You have the creator saying, bashing the original fans for not liking this one. Even though she went on record as saying, I didn't watch the show when I was little. I had some of the toys, but I didn't ever watch the series. How is that supposed to instill confidence in those who are going to watch the show? Obviously, watch the show. The fact that you're messing with the reviews, handing out screeners to only the people you know was going to give you good reviews, instead of handing out screeners also to the people who are not fans, instead of handing them to them and saying, here, watch the series before you judge it. Would that have helped? It did me, because I was totally, it had it in my head, well, I'm going to watch the series just so I can rightfully bash the show. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not here to do that. In fact, that leads me to my final thoughts here. It's bad. It's not as bad as I thought. But, I was at least able to get through watching it. But it is bad. And what's worse is I'm going to have to add the series to the rest of my Master of the Universe DVD collection when it comes out. And at least watch it once after I buy it, just because I bought it. But it's bad. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like I said, there are things I enjoyed. I enjoyed a lot of the references that they made to the callbacks to the original. I loved hearing "For the Honor of Grayskull," but every time I heard it, it bothered me that they never explained why she has to say that. Even though, because in Filmation, we know why she has to say that. The sword and the power comes from Grayskull on Eternia. Why does she have to say it here, other than the fact that it was in the original? We don't know. Yeah. Would I recommend this? If you've never seen... Hello, Zanab. How are you? Welcome. Would I recommend the series? If you've never seen He-Man in your life, if you've never watched a She-Ra episode in your life, then sure, go ahead. On that aspect, it might not be so bad of a show for you. To the true hardcore fans, I wouldn't watch it. You're going to probably not like it. And you'll probably be very mad and very upset. So, but those are pretty much my thoughts on the entire series. Yeah. Like I said, there were things about it I did like. A lot of things I didn't like. I liked the homage that they did for Filmation at the very beginning, where they kind of did the whole Netflix logo in the Filmation type. That was kind of cool. I did Shadow Weaver grew on me. I actually enjoyed Catra. I liked a lot of the references to the original show, with the password being Eternia. I like her calling out to Castle Grayskull, even though we don't know why. Even she asks, what's Castle Grayskull? We never get an answer to that. I enjoyed Catra. Perfuma was actually the princess that I actually liked on the series. Hordak, I really liked Hordak as far as appearance and voiceover goes. I didn't like how they portrayed him, though, just kind of being somebody who sits on a throne and does absolutely nothing, who doesn't give a shit about Adora. Totally not Hordak. I loved the two big cameos we got from Grizzlor and Octavia. That was really cool. I was really hoping for a Mantenna cameo because Mantenna is my favorite character on the show. And I loved the line "Hack the Planet" because that's definitely a callback to the movie Hackers. So, but a lot of the things I didn't like. I didn't like Adora Shira. She was very whiny, klutzy, unsure of herself. Probably what they were going for, but again, not Adora, not Shira. It's just not her. Adora was always strong-minded, on full, let's go get him. Even when she was with the Horde, she was, let's go get him, for the Horde, for Hordak. And in this movie, she was just, I'm confused. So are the rest of us. Couldn't stand Glimmer. Glimmer was my least favorite character on the entire series. Bo, I started to like, but by the end of the series, I just wanted him to go away. I hated the theme song. The theme song wasn't catchy whatsoever. There was nothing memorable about the theme song. God, Seahawk. God, did they mess him up? Same with Madame Razz. Madame Razz was almost likable. If it wasn't supposed to be Madame Razz, it would have been okay. Again, I didn't like the fact that Hordak had his lack of relationship with Adora. The fact he gave two shits when she left, and the fact he did absolutely nothing bothered me. He was always in there. He was not afraid to get his hands dirty. He was, not afraid to lead the charge. This Hordak does jack shit. Looks cool doing it, but does jack shit. Couldn't stand. I pointed out that in the Filmation series, Scorpia looked very feminine, had a very butch-sounding voice. In this series, it's a complete opposite. Looks very, very butch and manly, but has a feminine voice. So that was just like nobody can get Scorpia right. Couldn't stand Mermista. Didn't like the Valley Girl talk. She was a spoiled rich brat, basically. The butler will go do it. Couldn't stand it. Entrapta, I was kind of on the fence about. I wasn't sure if I liked her or not. In the beginning, I didn't really like her. Towards the end of the series, she actually kind of grew on me a little bit. So that's a character I will probably put on my like list by second season. Frosta, I downright hated. Because Frosta is my favorite She-Ra character. And the fact that she's the one that they changed the most pissed me off to no end. To turn her into an 11-year-old Eskimo kid with the powers of Iceman. Literally, she rode in on that ice slide. Swiftwind. Swiftwind, oh my god, I wish somebody would have turned that bastard into glue on the show. Castaspella was and then the season finale, where the Horde gets defeated by the Care Bear stare. That was horrible. Do I think this is for kids? Yeah, I think it could be for kids. As a 7-year-old, you're not looking for you're as a 7-year-old kid, you're not going to see the obvious lesbian overtones that were portrayed in the series. There's a part in one of the episodes where Catra and Adora are dancing. I don't feel there's anything wrong with that, honestly. You could still be best friends, male, female, and dance together. It happens. You see it all the time on dance floors, especially in school and when you go to dances. No big deal. As far as the relationship between Spinnerella and Netossa, really all you see is them holding hands and hugging together. That's it. You don't see any kissing. You obviously don't see anything too extreme because this is supposed to be for kids. There's nothing out there that screams, "Hey, kids, this is what a lesbian is. Hey, kids, this is what a gay person is. Hey, this is what a transgender is." Nothing in that show is like that. But people who are older, like ourselves, definitely see it, that there is that agenda in here. We do see this. So can your 7-year-old sit down and watch this? Probably, yeah. I would say, yeah. I think it's okay for them to watch this. It's not overly violent. It probably could benefit for being a little overly violent. Something's got to save. Something could be done to save this series. Um, but no, I don't feel that you have to keep your kids from watching this. Um, I don't think it's one of those shows where they're gonna at the end go, "Why were they holding hands? Why why were they dancing?" Go to one of go to a little if they still have these, like a first grade parties at school for whatever. They have little dances. You'll see two girls dancing and having a good time, and so and then I guarantee that those little 5, 7-year-olds aren't thinking, I want to get into her pants. At least, God, I hope not. They're just thinking, oh, this is my best friend. We're having fun. That's my thoughts on it anyway. The only reason the kids might bring this up is if the parents actually go, hey, do you know why they were holding hands? Well, this is why. And again, that would be up to the parents. I leave that up to the parents. If you want to talk to your kids about LBGT, um, that's fine. And that's where it should come from. Parents' prerogative. And again, I'm not against any of that. I'm really not. I just the more extreme stuff I think should be kept out of kids' cartoons. Like if there was some there was some kissing between these characters, and I would be like, yeah, that probably shouldn't be in there. That's not for a TV show to bring up. That's not for a kid. I'm sorry. That's not for a kid show to bring to the kids' attention. That should be up to the parents to do. And I do think parents should talk to their kids about this at some point because it is important. Um, and I would really like, more open-minded parents to do this as opposed to, this is wrong, this is bad, rah, 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 you're gonna go to hell. Again, that's my thoughts, it's my beliefs. So, but and a long stretched out answer to your question, yes, I think this is for kids. I think kids can go ahead and watch this and uh, hopefully be more entertained by it than I was. Because honestly, my favorite part of the whole series is when Entrapta yelled out, "Hack the planet!" That was. I didn't even get excited for when Adora yelled for the honor of Grayskull, because again, what does Grayskull have to do with the series? We know what it should have to do with the series, but and again, we're never given that answer. We're never said, "Hey, this is Grayskull. This is where the power comes from. This is, who your brother is." So, was there anything about it you liked? I'm sorry if I don't pronounce your name correctly. Zanab. Zanab. Can I just call you Amin? Is that okay? Because I really feel bad if I pronounce your name wrong. So, oh, and before I forget, thank you, appreciate it. Before I forget, for everybody who watches later on or happens to join us here a little later, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the little bell so you can get all the notifications, and give me a thumbs up. And hey, share if you care. Really help me out a lot if you do so. So again, we're talking She-Ra, Princesses of Power. Like it, don't like it. Let me know in the comments below. Tell me, if you do, tell me why you don't like it. And I prefer if you comment below if you've actually sat and watched the series. I don't want to say I don't like it, I refuse to watch it. Well, you can't really say you don't like it if you actually haven't watched the series. You can say you don't like the trailers if you've seen it. You can say you don't like the stills. That's fine. But if you haven't actually watched the series, it'd be best if you did, so you can actually say why you don't like it. At least that's what I think. It'd be cool if you did that. So it's only 13 episodes. I got them watched in 2 days. 3 days. I watched most of them in 2 days. Third day, I watched the last episode. I have a job, people. Otherwise, this would have been done by now. So, yeah. So, thoughts on the second season? I'm going to go ahead and give it that because I believe this has been picked up for a second season. I think we're going to get more princesses, obviously. This is definitely set up to sell toys. I think pretty soon we're going to get some toys in the store. And I may buy the toys just to support the brand itself. I'll definitely buy the DVD set to add to my original He-Man DVD collection. The cast of the new She-Ra was talking bad of the old She-Ra. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you why they were talking bad about it. And this is something you should never, ever do. They were talking bad about the old one because they were trying to put theirs on a pedestal. They wanted to say, well, this one is so much more superior than the old one. The old one was bad. The women were too feminine looking. They were too beautiful. Women don't have to look like that. Real women don't look like that. They wanted their females to look like everybody else in the real world. And what they couldn't comprehend is when you watch a fantasy series like She-Ra or He-Man, you're not watching it to see realistic people. You want to see, when you watch He-Man, you want to see that big muscular barbarian guy. When you watch She-Ra, you want to see that beautiful, powerful woman that could lift the freaking mountain and throw it at the horde. You want to see a beautiful woman who can cast spells, and this is what we want to see. That's why it's called fantasy. We don't turn into She-Ra to see a big 400-pound woman spinning around, and I'm not saying fat. I'm fat. I'll stand up right now. I'm fat. All right, so I'm definitely not fat shaming anybody. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want to see a fat woman in my fantasy series. I want to see a beautiful woman. I don't want to see a fat dude in a fantasy series. I want to see a skinny dude or a fit dude. Because that's not me. I want to pretend I'm somebody like He-Man. When you watch He-Man, you pretend you want to try being that guy. So yeah, I don't want, if I'm a female with some weight on her, I don't want to look at Glimmer, who's portrayed as very chunky, and be like, oh my god, that's me. I want to look at somebody like the original Glimmer and go, wow, I could look like that. Right? So that's not, to me, she's fat shaming or skinny shaming in this case. But that is pretty much why they were doing that. They wanted, they were bashing the original to try proving how much better theirs is. Then the voice actors joined in. They're like, oh yeah, their voice actors sounded like robots. We're so much more lively and and the voice acting was horrible in this new series. It really was. We have a winter weather statement in our state. We're probably going to be getting some more snow here in Illinois. But yeah, that's pretty much why. I mentioned earlier, and them talking bad about the new show isn't the only scummy thing that they've done to promote the series. I mentioned that they handed out screener copies of the series before it aired on Netflix to various YouTube viewers, and to viewers like Entertainment Weekly and things like that, who knew they were going to get positive reviews. They didn't give it to other reviewers who were bashing the series already, which would make sense if they did, because this way they'd be like, here, before you are, I know you're bashing it, but why don't you watch the series first so you can tell us if you really hate it or really like it, or do basically what I just did. I watched the show, I told you what I liked about it, I told you what I didn't like about it, and I gave my overall review. But they didn't do that. If you go to RottenTomatoes.com, you'll notice the critic rating is at 100%. These are the critics that were already giving the show a positive review, regardless. And you'll see that they were on there because it it promotes this, and this, and this, and it's better than the original, and basically shaming the original series like DreamWorks was. Now, the audience review, which was at 0%, miraculously almost overnight went to 40%. You could find out why by clicking on who reviewed this. You'll see a bunch of 5-star ratings, but when you click on the profile, there won't be a profile, and you'll see that they started November 2018, all of them. So my theory is, and a lot of theories on YouTube is, that they hired some PR firm to create a bunch of emails and accounts and just give 5-star ratings. They don't even say why they like the show. Just 5-star rating. There's no profile picture, nothing. If you look at the negative reviews, there's at least a profile picture, other reviews that they have rated, or movies that they have rated. So yeah, so they're being really, really sneaky and underhanded with this. And it's really turning a lot of people off. So that, I hope that kind of answers your question as to why they were bashing the old. Yeah, basically it was to promote themselves, to make themselves feel better, more superior, which they're not. So, and again, I want to say I don't 100% hate the series, nor am I 100% against the series. I just, for the most part, I dislike it more than I like it. If there's a second season, of course, I'll watch it. Just for the most part, so I can properly review it. And in the second, to see if they've improved upon the first season. God, I hope they did. And I am really curious to see what the toys look like. I know Super 7 had a pre-order for She-Ra and Catra. They basically had the 5 points of articulation. It was highly overly priced, so I would have picked them up just for a review. I wasn't going to do that. I figure somebody will be on there on eBay who will be like, these suck. I'm going to put them up for like really cheap to get rid of them, and then I'll get them and properly review them. But from what I heard, I think Mattel is actually going to release their own line of the figures for the new series, and we'll check them out. I may or may not get them. If I do, it'll be to review them and add them to my Masters of the Universe collection to help the brand itself. Not so much the Netflix series, but to help the brand. Because that's what we really want to do. We don't want She-Ra to go away completely. We want this new show to go away. But we don't want She-Ra to go away. We don't want He-Man to go away. What we don't want is for a new He-Man cartoon to spawn out of this series. And cross fingers that we do get a new He-Man series, just nothing like this. So, I hope that answers your question. So, yeah. Speaking of He-Man, Speaking of him, we're gonna get a little bit of He-Man action here. We got our little Skeletor here. We got He-Man here. They just happen to be sitting over here. Maybe I should do a review on these little guys. Got Faker and Beastman. And of course, we've got Teela. So I'm very much looking forward to Evil-Lyn and Man-at-Arms when they come out. I think they're going to be really cool. I love these little figures. So maybe I'll do a review on these guys. Not now. So, well, I mean, there's nothing else. I think I'm going to go ahead and head off here. We are now hitting the minute and 20 mark, almost an hour and 20 minutes here, almost an hour and 21. So I want to thank everybody for coming in and watching. Thank you, for tuning in. Please try to remember to hit the subscribe if you'll be so kind. Please give me a thumbs up. Share the video if you care. And everyone who watches this later on, thank you for watching. Please comment below. Let me know if you liked the series, if you didn't like the series, why you liked or disliked the series, and if you have a favorite character, happen to have a favorite character or a least favorite character, let me know in the comments. Mine, I think, is definitely going to be Catra and Shadow Weaver this time. Definitely Hordak, because even though he didn't do anything. So, and I will catch everybody later. Please be kind to each other. And please mouse work. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I'm the logical one, John Wise. You have been watching The Logic.